Welcome to today's Teen STEAM. Today we are going to be talking about something that powers almost every aspect of our world now. So you may be thinking electricity, water. Well, we're going to be talking about something called binary code. So binary code is essentially computer language. So phones need it, computers need it, really anything that's going to have any coding or programming in it needs it. So if you give me a second, I'm going to pull up some notes that I have on it, because while I tried to learn as much as I could, I do not by all means know everything. So I'm going to try and give you a brief overview. I'm not going to be in depth, and then at the end of this video I'm going to recommend a couple of books that we have here at the library that are absolutely fantastic for talking about any additional coding and that sort of thing that you'd want to learn about. So binary code is pretty much the most fundamental concept underlying programming and computer science. It's what makes every computer you use at work, or at home, I guess, every computer you use work the way it does. So binary code is made up entirely of ones and zeros. The ones and zeros represent two states which are on and off. And pretty much binary is a code that enables us to communicate with computers and give them instructions. So when you input something into a computer, let's say you type a word, it gets swapped, if you will, into computer speak so that the computer knows what's going on and knows to type a K or an O or something like that. So understanding the basics of what binary is and how it works it's not really only just something that's incredibly interesting and fascinating, but it's also very useful. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied today. Clearly I should have had more caffeine. So understanding the basics of what binary is and how it works is pretty simple. So if we're going to think about it as the one meaning on, and then zero means off. So like I said, ones and zeros are on and off. One is on, zero is off. So what computers do with this information, right, is they take information from their users, which is us, right, we're their users, and it stores it and processes it and then inputs that information, and then it uses the information we give it to do outputs of various kinds. So let's go ahead and get started on our first project, okay? So there are going to be a couple different things we do with this. We're going to do something that gets us familiar with binary, and then we're going to do an activity. So what you're going to have in your bag is you're going to have a paper like this. You're going to have a handy dandy handout. 1 minute, it's somewhere here. Oh, I don't have it in this section. But that is a section from the Encyclopedia Britannica that sort of just does some basic explanations of binary. It's going to go far more in depth than what I did, because I'll be honest, while I can kind of understand it, it's still way above what my brain can do. So you're going to also have in your bag a little piece of paper that says, "Hello, my name is." So you're going to want to go ahead and pull that out. You're going to want to pull this out, and you are going to want to grab a pencil. All right, give me a second to get my materials together and we'll start on that. Okay everybody, so now you're going to want to grab this character table, and then since if we already have these, you're also going to need something to write with, and we're going to use the numbers and letters provided to write our name in binary. Now remember, the binary alphabet is going to be made entirely of ones and zeros, and capital and lowercase letters are going to have different numbers as their symbols, okay? So for example, we all know my name is Montana, so an M, a capital M, is 01001101, whereas a lowercase m is 0110110, which, as you can tell, different things. So go ahead and write your name out, and then when we have these all filled out, we're going to get started on the next part of our experiment, and we're going to talk about numbers and how, if you only have zeros and ones, how you convert a number into binary. Okie dokie, so here is my name in binary. Isn't that fun? Lots of ones, lots of zeros. Oof, I'm glad I'm not a computer. That would get very monotonous. So now we're going to talk about binary numbers. So ones and zeros are obviously numbers, but how do you write something like 84, right? 8s and 4s, they aren't available, right? So here's what they use, and you're going to love it. Algebra. So I'm going to make this as simple as possible so that it is as unconfusing as possible. I'm going to grab my sheet of paper to write with, okay? And we're going to talk about this as easy as possible. Okay, so in regular numbers, and by regular I mean the ones we use all the time, right? You have 10 choices of numbers to choose from, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then you can combine those however you want. So when counting, we use powers of 10. So 10, right? And then you have 13. 13 and 3 are 10 apart. So the next time you see the number, there's a 10 number difference. And when you think 10 times 10 is 100, 20 is 2 10s, right? So we think in terms of 10. Well, with binary, we have to think in terms of 2. This is 84 in binary, which, as I'm sure you're all thinking, wow, that looks just like how it always looks. No. Okay, so I'm sorry, I can't even joke for that long. All right, so let's look at how we break this down. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this right here. And this essentially explains the differences between binary, which is what we're talking about here, which is when you have only 2 numbers that have to comprise every number, and the decimal system, which is when you have 10 digits to comprise every number, right? So with binary, or sorry, not binary, with decimal, deci stands for 10, which is we already talked about. So it's powers of 10, powers of 2, right? So what we're going to do with this is, and I'm going to explain it on here, and then I'm going to work it on a pad, okay? So we have right here, we have to the 1 power. So it's 2 times 0 to the 2 power of 0, or the 0 power of 2, which is 0, which you would then multiply by 1 to get a digit, okay? Then you have 2 to the 1 power, which is 2, which you would multiply by 0, which would bring you your answer, right? All the way through. When you're done multiplying, you then come down to the bottom row, and we add it all together. So we add every single number we get from converting, we add it together, and the total that we get from adding it together is what it would be in regular decimal numbers, okay? So here we go. Ready? 0. In the first spot, it is 2 to the 0 power, right? Which is 1. 1 times 0 is 0. Sorry for the suspense. We'll draw a line so we know the difference. Okay, now we have 2 to the 1 power, which is essentially double what it was before. So 2 to the 0 was 1. 2 to the 1 is 2. So 2 times 0 is 0. Such a letdown. So excited. I thought it might be a big number. Okay, 2 to the 2 power. Well, if 2 to the 1 was 2, 2 to the 2 is going to be 4. 4 times 1, 4. Y'all are so smart, see? Y'all ought to be teaching this, not me. Okay. 2 to the 3 is going to be 8, right? 8 multiplied by 0 is, guesses? 0, yeah, I know. I wish I learned in binary. 1s and 0s are so much easier. I tell you what, it's either the exact number or it's 0. All right, to the 2 to the 4, which is 16 times 1 is 16, right? Yes, we're all tracking. Okay. Now we're going to go 2 to the 5, which if this is 16, this is going to be 32. 2 to the 5, 32 times 0 is, unfortunately, 0. All right, and for our last conversion, we have 2 to the 6. 2 to the 6 is 64, okay, times 1 is 64. Ready for the easy part? Now we add all those numbers together. So 64 and 0 is 64. 64, 0, and 16 are 80. 80 and 0 are 80. 80 and 4 are 84. And 84 plus 0 and 0 is 84. Bam! We did it. I'm so proud of us. I almost had a heart attack 3 times trying to do the math. Flashbacks to high school and college, I tell you what, math is a rough subject for me. Okay, so now that we have gone through and done the hardest part, I swear that was the hard part, it gets so much easier from here. Now that we're done learning about binary, we can just do an activity. Thank you. Whew. And we're going to actually still want this to do the activity. So, you're going to see that you have some beads, you have some black beads, and some white beads. And you're also going to have some clear string, just like this. Okay, so as we talked about, 1s and 0s represent on and off. 1 is on, 0 is off, okay? Think of it like a light bulb, but like itty bitty 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 and inside your computer. Long ago, there actually were flashing lights. It's why if you watch old movies, or movies that have computers from long ago. A great example is the movie Hidden Figures, where they talk about it, is you see the light flashing when it's on. Computers are now so small, the processors are, that we don't see that now. But think of it as a light bulb. On, right? Light. Off. All right? So we're going to flip it down. You're going to have to give me a second. I've got to pull my camera. And then we will do this activity, okay? It's going to be fun, so much easier. We can turn off our brains and just 1s and 0s, just like a computer. Alrighty, so I separated them out. You can't tell, but I do have beads on this plate. So we're going to actually use the hello, my name is tags and our beads and our string to make something that represents our name. And we can do it however we want. You can make it into just like a long string that you can hang, right, that has your name, or that you can put across a dresser or a bookshelf. Or you can make it into a necklace or a bracelet, depending on how long your name is. My name is a lot of letters. So I'm going to probably need to make just a long string for it. But if you have a shorter name, you can just make it into a necklace or a bracelet, really whatever you guys want to do. So you're going to want to start by putting a knot in one end of your string here. And then like I said, we need to remember 1s represent on, 0s represent off, okay? So, for example, I have a 0, 1, then 2 zeros. Ooh, I did not make a big enough knot, you guys. That was not good. Sorry, I can't help myself. Okay, so let's, well, lesson learned. Let's try knotting it twice then on the end here. If you try and like match up so that your knots are right on top of each other, it makes it bigger. As you can see, I have a single knot here, and then that's my double knot. See the difference in size? Okay, so let's do this again, right? I said, runaway beads, no. Okay, 0, Ooh, there we go, perfect. 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. There you go. And this is a capital M in binary code converted into beads. Alright, so go ahead and keep working on the rest of this. You are going to be doing great. Okie dokie, so here is the finished product. It's as much of my name as fit on the string that I had. So I am going to keep this as a string because I think it's actually, I might not have the space to do that. Very cool. So I'm just going to, oh, that might not work. I didn't save enough string. Should have known better. So I'm just going to tie it off. I guess I'm making a necklace. Ooh, how exciting. Almost. Look. Just a second. It never seems to do what I want it to when I want it to, I tell you what. Woohoo! Here we go. Alright, isn't that cool? It's fun. I don't know that it's going to fit over my head, but it can definitely be a decoration in my house. Okay, so now you got a slightly in-depth, but hopefully not too horribly in-depth understanding of binary. If you want additional information about coding and how it works in a computer, here are 3 books that we have here at the library that are pretty good. We try to keep stuff that's up to date. It's not going to specifically be about binary, but it's going to be other materials kind of along the same lines. Very interesting if you're interested in computer programming and what makes computers do what they do. Alrighty everybody, so thank you for joining me for Team S.T.E.A.M today. I really enjoyed getting to do this activity with you guys and slightly less enjoyed the math part. But we made it through, we survived, way to go, and I will see you all in 2 weeks. Have fun!